it is my pleasure to introduce Gina Pecoraro. I cannot.
You're
sorry. Pecoraro. There we go. And she's the CEO and creator of the company 7 Even Clothing, which celebrates LGBTQ pride and equality. And I'm so happy to have you here to discuss your inspiration and what it was like creating a company from the ground up. So I'm going to turn it over to you and tell us about yourself.
Thank you. Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I've been very excited for this day. So I started the company about 12 years ago, which actually is a long time thinking about it. And the backstory of how I started was I always knew I was part of the LGBTQ community. I just never wanted to accept it or kind of pay attention to it. So I kind of like lived my life the way I was supposed to. Got married to a man, and after getting married, I realized like, wow, I really made a big mistake. Like this life isn't for me. Went through the process of accepting and went through the process of, going through everything that you have to go to unravel everything that you have now put together. And I realized that I was gay. And in the process, I looked for like LGBT clothing, and all I found was rainbows upon rainbows. And I wasn't a rainbow person. I still am not a rainbow person. And I don't think it was necessary for me to have to express myself through rainbow just because I was gay. So my backstory or my back past of education is I went to school for graphic design, and I always wanted to have my own company. I always did art all my life. So with the graphic design, that's when I realized I wanted to have my own clothing line. Back then, I didn't realize that what it is now. It's a gay clothing line, LGBTQ clothing line. So my past kind of, brought me into this, and it's been great ever since. And I'm just creating and designing, for my community. It's more so bigger than the rainbow. It's different way of expressing your sexuality other than rainbow. There's more options out there, and the people that come to my store and buy my designs and products that I sell, it's a different way of representing who you are, which is great. And that's I get positive reinforcement from it, so it's great.
Great. And then, so I know you were talking and you said that you started with graphic design. So how exactly did you go from, a degree in graphic design to owning your own business? Obviously, there's a lot to know as far as setting up a business, LLCs, things like that. So how did you make that transition?
I looked into working for people. It's a very competitive field, number one. I always knew that I wanted to have my own company. Number two, I come from a line of entrepreneurs in my family, so it was kind of like second nature to me. So I just took the skills that I've had all my life and what I learned in school and brought them to, fruition and started my own company. You kind of have to, this was 12 years ago, so it's a little easier now to get an LLC, get a trademark, like you have different outlets to help you. I actually had to hire a lawyer back then and kind of figure out my way of, becoming a company. So it was difficult, but you just kind of figure it out as you go. And that's basically what I've done this whole time. I just figured it out as I went, and you make mistakes and you learn from them. And now in 2021, I look back, I'm like, oh, wow, if I would have just did that, would have been easier. Like, it's just, everything is so much at your fingertips. So if you have any skills that you have, that you want to grow and go to school for and want to do on your own instead of working for someone else, you just got to go for it and see where it can bring you. And you work at it every day. So that's how I'm here.
Awesome. So I also know, I was looking at your website and I saw, I know you were saying that you got the inspiration because you weren't a rainbow person and you wanted to do something, express yourself in a different way. And I know on your website, you talk a little bit about how exactly you came up with 7 Even clothing, like where the idea of that particular name and stuff come from. Could you talk a little bit about that and
Yeah,
how
sure.
you got your inspiration and how that led into your brand?
So my best friend, when I had moved to Florida, after I graduated high school in 1998, and definitely was not ready to come out, definitely wasn't really thinking about me being gay, and he was gay himself, and we became really good friends. And he, all of a sudden, it was when the beepers were very popular. I would constantly get beeped, like just straight sevens. And I'm like, who is paging me sevens? I had no idea what it was. It went on for weeks. And he was like, I'm the one that's paging me the number 7. And I'm like, what is the 7 for? And he's like, 7 is because you're gay, you're a lesbian. I'm like, what the heck does that even mean? He's like, 7 is the number of letters in the word lesbian, you're a 7. And that's how it became. And he would constantly tell me like, you're a 7, or sorry about that, we have somebody going through. Anytime we were out to eat and there would be like 7s on the receipt, he would constantly like remind me that like, I know your little secret there. And I would deny it. And he just, kept telling me, and it became a nickname. And after going to school and coming out and realizing that there was not much of a variety for the community as far as representation, besides the rainbow, I decided to take that nickname that literally drove me insane and put it to good use. And that's how 7 Even came along. So I actually used the 7 as the 7 colors of the rainbow, and then even represents equality. So the logo is 7E, and the E looks like the bottom looks like an equality sign. So kind of all like intertwines in itself. And basically you wear your gay pride through the logo and designs instead of just the rainbow. So it's a different option for people that aren't rainbow people.
Very cool. And then would you say, obviously, you were saying that you have a background in graphic design. So would you say that particular background definitely helped you in creating your logo and things like that?
Yeah. I actually had in the very, very beginning, I actually had a guy help me do my designs. I had an artist doing everything. So he actually helped, and we collaborated on making the logo. And that's basically, I can't take all the credit, but we we combined our thoughts and we created it, and that's how it came about.
Very cool. Okay, so you've created this amazing company. You had this great idea, you had this great inspiration, and now you've started your LLC. So now that you have this company going, what is your typical day like on a day-to-day basis? Obviously, I know that can change day to day, but what would you say overall you're doing every day?
When you're an entrepreneur and you don't have anybody working for you, you wear every hat imaginable. So from a day to day, everything is different. I design everything. I keep up with designing my website, changing things, social media, sending out emails, advertising. So every day you kind of like juggle. I don't design every day. I kind of like do it sporadically throughout the week. It just becomes more heavily on that when I'm coming out with like a new collection. But day to day is just the upkeep of everything, and communicating with the fans and the customers and customer emails when they message me and email me questions and stuff like that. It's just day to day basic upkeep of a company. So it's fun. I like it. It's not work to me. So
Awesome. So that's actually leads into a couple of questions that I had. As far as obviously technology has changed drastically over the last couple of years. And, obviously with a clothing line, you could go to a brick and mortar shop, or you could do more of online presence and things like that. What led to your decision in that area, and how has technology changed or helped or hurt you with your business?
Um, Technology definitely helped with my business. I started out just doing pride events in the summertime. I was never really in a storefront. I've always had all my products to sell online. And I think just, as technology progressed and social media builds and everything, it kind of opens up doors that I never would have the opportunity. Say if I just had a storefront, you only have the customers that are walking in and out, passing by. But with social media, I'm reaching people all over the world. So it's definitely helped, and it's definitely a plus. You know, it's a lot of competition out there because it's so, it's easier to reach those people now. But I think it's definitely a plus. I think it's definitely changed for the better.
Awesome. And then I know you said too that you are always updating your collection and you're coming out with new things. How often would you say that you try to update, and how do you find inspiration to keep creating new things?
Basically, every day I find something that inspires a thought to design the product. So everything, day-to-day news coverage that comes on the news, someone's experience, history of the LGBTQ community, just something passing by in the street. I'll see, like, I know it's so cliche that when you ask artists, like, what's your inspiration? And they say everything. It literally is. It really is everything, anything and everything. It's just a constant thought. If I could, I'd draw every day, but I can't. But I like to, put out new stuff every so often. But twice a year I do big collections. So right now I'm starting off with the spring and summer line. So I have bathing suits coming out now that I haven't had last year. So every year there's new products that I'm able to create. So it's fun. I just, when you're an artist, everything is fun. So, I like to have the designs like give a story. Like it's just not like a design with a name on it. It has a meaning. It's an inspiration. I don't know if you saw on the website, but every product has, inspired, and I tell a story of why I designed that and why I chose to, sell it and put it up. So it's cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. What would you say are some of your favorite things about your career path and the path that you've chosen? What do you think are some of the drawbacks or things that teens should be aware of if this is something that they're choosing to pursue?
I mean, everything is a risk when you're doing anything in life. You really need to just keep focused and be passionate about what you're doing. And you just got to have the confidence to go for it, and you just don't let anybody get in your ear like you can't do something. You got to do it. And especially if it's going to change someone out there, that you never know who you're going to touch. You never know whose life you're going to change. And that's been my experience. I mean, I get emails and messages on social media of how just a simple t-shirt or the simplicity of the company of what it means has changed people's lives. So it's very touching and it's very rewarding. So, you just got to go do it. I mean, if you have the talent and the want and the drive and the focus, and, it's rewarding on that end. The risks are, sometimes businesses aren't as successful as we think they should be, or they will be, or they could be. Even with my business, I'm like, it should be bigger than it is. It could be bigger than it is. I mean, you're always looking at the negative. Well, I'm always looking at the negative, but you shouldn't be doing that. You should be looking forward and that's positive. But everything has risks. It depends on what you're doing. You could invest money, things like that, but you got to do it smartly. So, but there's so many options out there. There's so many things at your fingertips that that can help you along the way. Just do your research before you start. Just be smart about it, but definitely, if it's your passion, you got to do it. You live once, and that's it. That's it. There's people that don't get to, have the life you have, and, you know, live the life you live and have the opportunities that you have. So if you have opportunity to do something that you love, you just got to do it.
Great. And that leads into my next question is what type of education or technical knowledge or experience do you think is necessary and or helpful if this is the career path that you're looking to go into?
Entrepreneurship or like art, like being an
Yeah,
artist?
either one.
Well, I guess entrepreneurship, you know, you need schooling, you need, you know, got to finish high school, you got to learn the basics of things. And, you know, it depends on what you're looking for. For me, I went to an art school. It was a trade school. I wasn't college bound. I just knew that I loved to draw, and I, you know, wanted to do art. I didn't know what. And then I found that trade school that I went to, and that's how I started. But I think trade schools are the best schools for people that, you know, aren't college bound, that are not, you know, don't want to sit at a desk and, you know, book work, you know. I like hands-on. So if you're like that hands-on type of person, definitely find a trade school. You know, you could learn so much, and it's hands-on skills that you're going to learn for your trade. You know, but if you're going to school for other things, you got to obviously go to school and, you know, take the math and the science and everything. But yeah, trade school. I love the trade school. I think it's one of the best things for hands-on students that like myself. So
Definitely.
yeah.
And can you think of anything that if somebody in high school could be doing now to either work up some skills or get a taste for what either being an artist or entrepreneur would be like, something that they could be working on or doing now to prepare themselves?
Take classes that you have the opportunity to take now, because you're not going to get them in, you know, life. You're going to have to pay for them, really. You're going to have to search for it. But there's opportunities in school that, you know, I'm not saying I went to school a million years ago, but I didn't have opportunities that the kids have now. And I'm like, oh man, that would be so cool. I wish I had that, you know, extra class, or, you know, this clubs that you have at school. You know, just join everything you can, because everything is an experience. Everything is a learning experience. And you have no idea what that class or what that, you know, after school, you know, activity could do for you and bring, you know, in the future. So just take every opportunity that you have.
Awesome. And then so going kind of into the day-to-day and the work conditions and things like that, some general things. Do you feel that there are any limitations on your personal or social life because of the nature of your work, because you kind of are always kind of on, there's no set hours or something like that?
Yeah, actually a big example, my wife's 40th birthday was on Sunday, and we got, you know, a few people together, and, you know, we were out to eat, and, you know, I get customer, you know, questions on my website, because they have that now where you're on a website, you have a question, you could just click the thing and start talking. So I have to be on all the time. You know, I have certain hours that's on, and I turn it off at, like, I think it was like 9 o'clock at night, but you always have to, you know, have that as a side hustle. If you have a side hustle, you got to be there, and show up. So it's just constant, you know. And I also, whenever I'm out somewhere or I see a friend or someone that knows my line, they'll ask me questions and stuff. I mean, it's flattering, it's amazing. But it's never off, I guess you could say. But like I said, if you love it and this is your passion and this is your baby, you don't mind, you know, you don't mind the extra work that you put in and the hours. So I don't mind it. You know, I get excited when someone messages me on my website, like, has a question. Like, it's exciting. You're on my site shopping and you have a question. Like, I just don't see the negative, I guess. I mean, it could be that you're, you know, you have to constantly be on and available, I guess.
Gotcha. And then also, I know obviously you have a clothing line specifically. So how do you handle like the production and the distribution and things like that on like the more business side of things? Is that something that you personally do, or do you work with other companies or things like that?
When I first started, you know, you find screen printers. So you'd have to put an order in with the screen printer. It's a lot of money to invest. And that's how I started. And you get boxes and boxes of product, depending on how many items you have, designs you have, colors and everything. And that product sits until you sell it. So through YouTube, I taught myself how to screen print. I researched it for a good year, finally just invested, and I bought myself a screen printing machine, taught myself how to screen print, and then I was producing my own products. I was printing t-shirts, mailing them out, packaging them, mailing them to, the customers and everything. I literally was hands-on every single aspect of everyday tasks to do. And then as technology progressed and, years went on, these opportunities, they're called drop shippers. They're companies throughout the United States. And there's more and more now that the years have gone on that offer, they're called DTG printing. So it's direct to garment. So instead of me producing and having it sit and investing money, these drop shippers now give you the opportunity to upload and send your design, and they print it for you. And then they mail it out, and they kind of do all the legwork, which opens my time from all that time running to the post office, printing and, packaging everything. I'm able to now focus more on the business aspect and the design aspect. And I also have the opportunity now to have products that I would never have been able to carry in my within my company, because I don't have the equipment for, I don't have the skill for. But I have to say it was, I still print, I still, make decals and stickers, and I still do a lot of stuff on my own. But, some stuff I outsource, which, like I said, it frees up time for me to do other aspects. So, but it's crazy technology and the years and how it's changed just in 12 years from where I started to now. If anyone out there wants to have their own clothing line, I mean, everything is at your fingertips. Like, you literally can you search everything, and there's people out there, the companies out there that can help you big time. So.
Awesome. That actually brings up another really good question I had too, was you had mentioned that in order to kind of learn how to screen print your own things, you learned from YouTube. So are there any other things that you can think of, like if you're looking to learn new technology, or as the technology grows and things like that, like where do you go to learn new skills and stuff as your company progresses?
YouTube. If I don't know how to do something, I YouTube it, I Google it. It's just amazing how when we were younger, we had a question, we had to ask our mom, our dad, our brother, our sister, like we had to investigate. Now you literally take your phone and you just put it in Google and you find it. So anything that I need to know, or how to use a program, say, I'll YouTube it. And now I've actually been TikToking. I've been on TikTok. So I've been learning. I mean, there's so many art skills out there, and just being an artist, I want to do every single thing. I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool. I want to do that. I want to learn how to do that. So I am a visual learner. I'm not a book learner. So anything visual, there's tutorials out there, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, anywhere I could find videos on how to learn to do something. I search there. There's books and everything and classes you could take, but I kind of like learning on my own. It's it's something that, I may be different from other people. Other people may have to buy books, or take classes. We all learn differently. So I'm just thankful that, YouTube was there when I needed it. Because I don't think I probably would have started screen printing. I would never have known how to do it. So
yeah, YouTube has definitely
cool.
helped me as well learn some new skills. So
yeah,
I would definitely agree with that.
It's crazy. It's awesome.
That also brings up another good question. I know we talked a little bit about social media earlier. So let's say now you created this amazing product, you want to get it out there. So how did you go about promotions, and how have that kind of changed over the years? Obviously with, I know, social media and things like that. But is there anything that you do beyond social media to get your products out there?
Yeah, you can't rely on social media. I mean, it's a great outlet. It's a great reach to people that you normally can't reach, obviously from different states all over the world. But you still I still have to do legwork. I still have to pass out flyers and talk to people. I know people don't like to talk to anyone anymore. But people ask questions, and I just, I love June is our pride here on Long Island. So that's my favorite time of year because I get to do the events. People come in my booth, they question, they talk to me. You just see people's reactions to, when they're looking at stuff. Everything is personable. So, I still definitely have to do the legwork and definitely still hustle. Social media, it seems like it's great and people are like, oh, let me like that. It's hard because literally people just scroll and scroll. Now we're becoming just like robots where we're just like scroll and scroll. I mean, I do it myself. I'm like, I'm like, oh, I like that. I'll save that. I don't really have to like it to remember it. So, it's harder because also the algorithms and everything are changing. It's harder to get new people to look at your pages and everything. So you kind of have to, it's a constant learning, a learning tablet, I guess you could say. It's ever changing. But the one thing that definitely doesn't change is the person to person interaction. And that's the best part of it. So,
Yeah. Great. So you also had mentioned, obviously, Pride is in June here on Long Island. And so I'm assuming that would be a busy time of year for you. Are there other times of the year that are busier than others, or how does that work?
My busiest time of year is June here. But then in other states, they have their prides are all different months. So it's like you kind of see a spike in like the pride months in like, Minnesota, Florida. But definitely June is the busiest. And then, during the holidays is always a busy time of year, people buying gifts for people. So, you kind of go like this, like every business does. So, and in that lull, that's when I start creating and doing more things and finding different outlets. And I now have a team of people. I have advocates, which also is another outlet for me to help people in the community, and they take part in advertising and helping spread the word about 7 Even Clothing. But it's also they join because of the meaning of the company. So it's not just like, hey, I have this t-shirt, let me sell it. It means something to them, which is another outlet for, advertising and stuff like that. But it's fun because I got to know people that I never would have met before. It's been fun. Like I'm starting to do podcasts. I'm going to be doing podcasts. That's a new thing that I'll be doing. And I'm going to be interviewing these individuals that are part of my advocacy team. And, because everyone has a story, everyone has a hustle. I have people that, they're one girl, she owns a fitness. She's just starting out with fitness and she's part of the LGBT community. So it's kind of like we all have something going on, always have something to talk about. So I just think it's important to showcase other people, part of the community doing everyday things. And I think it's important to get that out there. So.
Yeah. And that also really brings up a good point too. I think it's important for teens to know that even if it's your own company and it's your own ideas, that you're still working within teams. It's still not a singular effort, right?
Yes. Everything is always better in groups, and you got to learn to work with people, and got to be personable. That's one of the things to be successful, as well. So,
And that actually brings up another good question is, what would you say personality-wise or skill-wise that you think is important for a teen to have if this is a career that they're considering, going into in the future?
I mean, from my business being a clothing brand, I have to be outgoing to be able to have the confidence to go up to people, to talk to people, to try to advertise and advocate for my own company. I was struggling in the beginning. I still do sometimes. I suffer from anxiety. So it's, sometimes I am doubtful and sometimes I'm fearful and I'm like, oh, I don't want to go up to those group of people. It's just a human reaction. But being outgoing is a big thing, being part of what I do. You just gotta be dedicated as well, and just use your skill set. But yeah.
And then
Nerve-wracking.
yeah, yeah, that can be nerve-wracking for me too. One thing I don't think I asked you before was about licensing. Like, were there any specific licenses that you needed to be able to get in order to be able to sell your own product? Or was it just because you're online that you were able to kind of do it without any specific licensing or anything like that?
No, I still have to follow the rules. I had to, apply for a tax ID. I have to pay taxes every year. I had to trademark my logo. I mean, if you want to be protected, you got to take the right steps to do so. If you're an artist out there and you want to create a brand, you definitely have to trademark, because there's people that like to copycat and take things on their own. So definitely I trademarked, and the LLC is also an important thing because it protects you as a company. God forbid someone decides to rip off a tag off a t-shirt and swallow it and choke, like they could sue my company. So you have to be smart before taking the leap and selling to the public. There's a lot of shiesty people out there, so you just got to protect yourself. So basically, you can do it without that, but it's better to prepare yourself before you start. That way you have all your ducks in line, and then you start out, on the right foot.
Right. Definitely. But I guess one of my last questions that I will ask while we're waiting for other questions is if you could give the teens in this community any advice. They want to do their own company, they want to do, they want to be an artist or anything. What advice would you give them? That's kind of a very broad statement. Sorry.
Yeah. And I'm going to give a cliche answer, is just literally be true to yourself. It's the most honest and genuine thing that you could do. If you are going into something and you're not who you're portraying to be, it's never going to work. You got to be who you are. You got to do what you're passionate about, what you're dedicated yourself to. It's easy to go into any field that you want to do, but you're not going to succeed unless it's something that you actually love and you'll be passionate about. But definitely, no matter who you are, where you're from, just be true to yourself, and everything will, follow through.
Yeah. And actually, I'm sorry, that does lead me to one other question about the importance of perseverance, specifically in when you're an entrepreneur and doing your own business. Is there anything that you would say to encourage, the kids to keep going? Because I'm sure there's a lot of rejection that happens along the way, or a lot of ups, like you said, ups and downs in business. Anything that you could suggest to encourage them to keep going?
I get it on a daily basis. I doubt myself all the time. Everything is greener on the other side. You always look, oh, they're doing this, oh, they're doing that. You can't compare yourself to other people, and it's so hard not to do. I do it every day. You just gotta keep focused, and just I go through it on a daily basis. I have, self-doubt. I mean, everyone has self-doubt in something, but you just kind of have to turn it off. And you just kind of try to, social media is like the devil. You look at stuff and you think it's something that it's not. Everyone portrays something that it's not. So don't compare yourself, don't scroll, and just keep focused on what you're doing, and have, the confidence just to keep going, and just never give up. I mean, it's been 12 years and I still doubt myself. Like, am I doing the right thing? Do I keep going? Every day could be that way. And you just got to keep going, and just, if you love it and it's making a difference, and depending on what it is, just do it. Yeah. And you gotta turn that off. So it's hard. It's
hard, but you're absolutely correct. So it does look like we have two great questions in the chat. So the first one is, can you tell us about your fashion shows? How did you make them happen?
My fashion shows, those were fun. And I actually wanted to do one last year, but then the pandemic happened. So um I don't even know. I just having a clothing line, you gotta have a fashion show. So I don't even know how I did it. It was when I first started. I had a friend who knew somebody that was the director of a movie area, like a cinema. It was in Huntington, actually, and that's where we have our pride parades. And I just gathered friends and gave people, the opportunity to be part of something fun, and everyone was part of it, and my friends were part of it, and it was just like a fun thing to do. And I just put a video together. I have like all these thoughts and visions, and my friend had helped me with having the video of it. And I just went for it. I don't even know how to explain it. You have this vision in your head and you just do it. I don't even know. I look back at it now. I'm like, wow, how did I do that? Like, I was literally just beginning, and I did like a fashion show, and people showed up, and I had no idea who these people were and how they knew about it. And I mean, every time I'm in awe of, oh my God, someone bought something. Like, it's just because it's my idea and my vision. So everything is flattering, but I have no idea how I started that first fashion show. And then the second fashion show I was actually asked to be part of. It was actually through HRC. So that was just a huge experience in itself. I mean, that was amazing. But I am looking forward to doing another one. I have a lot of ideas, and having your own show to be able to do your own thing is cool. So I can't wait.
Yeah. Okay, so another great question is, do you have staples in your line, or is the fashion always changing?
I kind of a t-shirt person, hoodie. Basically the line is just relaxed. It's not like fashion where you see like, New York Fashion Week, with the crazy outfits and stuff. It's just basic, simple hoodies, sweaters, t-shirts, shorts, and then accessories like bags and, hats and stuff like that. But yeah, nothing crazy, but that's my staple. Just simplicity.
And then the last question I see so far in the chat is, would you ever think of selling your business?
I thought about that. I'm like, what if someone discovers my brand and wants to buy it? I don't know. That's a tough question, because you don't know what they're going to do. You have this plan and meetings, and, I'm sure that you have to, come to an agreement. But you don't know what the other person wants to do, or their aim, or if they're going to keep true to the meaning and everything behind it, or change it into something that really is not what my vision was. And I don't know if I could ever let go of it. I don't know. I would have to see, but for right now, no. Yeah. I love everything. I like to do everything. I like to be in control of everything. It's hard to take other people's vision when you have your own. So one of the Intern is a good movie. I don't know if you ever saw it.
I believe I have, but a while ago. I haven't watched.
That is it's a good movie to watch if you're an entrepreneur. She goes through everything, success to doubt to personal life things happening. And then she had the opportunity to have someone purchase. And if you're an entrepreneur, even just a movie lover, just watch this movie, because it really showcases everything about being an entrepreneur and the struggles and everything. It's definitely a good watch.
Awesome. So I will definitely be rewatching.
Yeah. Has Robert De Niro in it too, so you can't go wrong.
There you go. I'm on board. All right. So I think I don't see any other questions in the chat. I'm going to give one last shout out for questions. If anybody has any, those were some great questions. So thank you very much for submitting.
Yeah, thank you for participating.
Yeah. But while we're waiting, I just want to say again, thank you so much for doing this. We really appreciate it. You're definitely helping to make a difference in the teens of our community. And again, just a reminder that we will be posting this online on our website. We are constantly doing new programs, so please check our website. We are constantly updating. We're constantly adding new videos. We both do a Meet the Professionals program, and we also do a college major exploration program where we meet with different colleges and they discuss specific programs within their college.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. I wish I had this when I was younger. Like everything is at your fingertips. It's so good.
Yep, and especially now with everything, a lot of things being closed because of the pandemic and everything too. You know, we want to make the information as accessible as possible. That's my job. That's what I'm here for. So if anybody ever has any questions or wants us to investigate a specific area or career choice, please let us know. You can always email us at teens@levittownpl.org, and we will be happy to investigate for you. So
cool. Well, thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
Yes.
And I was a little nervous, so I don't even know if I answered questions correctly, but you know.
Oh no, you did a wonderful, wonderful job. All right. So on that note, I'm going to say good night and thank you so much, Gina. Again, have a wonderful evening and thank you everybody for joining us.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Take care.